Hey everyone, I'm live. I'm Isabel, and here's my book, The Art of Owning Your Story. So basically, I'm doing this live stream session to talk about all the chapters in the book and about my story, how I make life decisions. So I'm going to start off our live stream with the first two chapters of my book. So the first chapter is called Breaking Free from the Matrix, and the second one is called It's Okay to Not Have a Plan. So in the first chapter, I talk about my experiences in college where I explored life in Australia. I worked as a part-time barista and how I started a corporate job in PwC. And the second chapters, I talk about I left the corporate job and I jumped into F&B industry to join a coffee company. It was a startup coffee company at that time called Espresso Lab. So, hey guys, good to see you there. And I would like to highlight 3 points that helped me to make my decision. And also it's kind of like the question that a lot of people ask. So the first one is like a lot of people will ask, like when I first joined the workforce, a lot of people ask like, what's your 5 years plan? Like where do you see yourself in 5 years? And that's the very, very popular corporate job interview questions. And seriously, I didn't know at that time, and I don't know now as well. So what's the importance of the 5 years plan? To me, it's okay. I'm in the chapters I actually say that it's okay to not have a plan, because I think our possibility is limitless, and sometimes it's very hard to frame ourselves in a 5 years plan, and we should actually just try and discover our strength. Because this question was asked to me when I left corporate, I left PwC and joined coffee industry. A person asked me like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I was like, I didn't know, but I told him that I see myself doing things that make me feel fulfilled and happy. And true enough, that was what I did, because how I make decision is basically I follow my intuition, whether I enjoy doing something. If I enjoy it, I should keep going and do more of it. So my stand is, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but my stand is like we not everyone needs a 5 years plan, and sometimes we should give ourselves space to explore and to discover what's possible out there, because there are many things out there that happens along the way that we didn't expect, like now compared to the future. And also, like a lot of people ask me, like, you have a good job in PwC, it's a corporate job, it's professional. Why do you quit your job and join coffee industry, F&B? It's very unrelated. So for me, I suffered a lot when I was in PwC. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no life there. And it wasn't because like the job is hard or anything. It's just because the nature of my character, I couldn't fit in, and I felt lifeless when I was there. And the kind of environment, the kind of job is just like killing me inside. So I made the decision to quit the job when I was with a client and I had to vouch like 400 samples. Basically in that job, I have to look for like to match the payment invoice, the delivery notes, and for 400 samples in a very, very dark file room. And that was when I asked myself, in the very dark file room, flipping through the files, I asked myself, like, what am I doing here? Am I growing? Am I helping other people? Am I contributing to the society? Is this the best I can do? My answer is no. And also, I ask myself, is that I look at my manager, so I can see that's where I would be in 5 years or sooner, like say 5 years. Do I want to be there? Do I want to do what he does? My answer is no as well. So it's very clear for me that there's no reason to stay in a corporate job. And I actually look for other jobs, and I didn't just like jump into F&B industry. It was by chance because I was looking for a part-time barista job when I was looking for, when I was serving my 1 month notice. That was when the boss in Espresso Lab, like the co-founder, he saw my resume and he asked me like, do you want to explore an opportunity in F&B industry? And I said yes. And jumping from corporate to coffee industry to a startup company basically is very different, because like from a place where there are a lot of structure, I went to a place where there is no structure. Basically, like there's no SOP, there is no presentation deck I can learn about the company. How I learned about the company is that I actually followed my boss around the town, and then to see, like, to really observe what's happening there, who are the parties, like the stakeholders involved, and try to piece together all the information, try to figure out the relationship of people there. And we are trained to think, it's like I didn't even have a job title at that time. The boss told me like, get your hand dirty and figure out what you want to do. So that's what I did. I was involved in many departments. I was like managing logistics. At one point, I was managing a cafe, and then I even did packing for coffee beans and like drink ingredients, something like that. And then I was in the marketing department. And as the company grows, my job, like sort of my responsibility skewed towards marketing, and that was what I did there. And I was there for 1.5 years, and then come the next decision. It's like, should I start my own company? So basically this question comes when I reach a point where I think that I'm not growing the way I want to grow. And it wasn't very structured in the company, where there's no proper guidance and you just feel lost, because like the company is growing and there's no one. I have to learn many things on my own. Say I have to learn social media, I have to learn Photoshop, I have to learn how to launch a promotion campaign throughout all the outlets. And after mastering the basic skill sets, you need some guidance, proper guidance to up-level yourself. And I didn't have that in the company that time. So I made the decision to quit the company, to the startup company, and start my own company. So in this book, by the end of chapter 2, I have a list of questions where I use to guide me, which I think like many people can use to decide how do you make your career decision. So basically the first one is like, ask the question, like, will this opportunity allows you to grow in the way you want to grow? And then the second one is that, will this opportunity allow you to avoid the things that you don't enjoy doing? And then the third is, will this opportunity has the culture and the people that you enjoy the most? And then will the opportunity set you up to do the work that you most enjoy and most proud of? And the fifth is, will this opportunity make you jealous if your best friend take it? And the last is that, will this opportunity best support your highest purpose? So for me, like when anyone first graduate, I think it's very, very important to explore life, to explore what other possibilities out there before you settle into something and before you set the 5 years plan and lock yourself there. Because from my own experience, without all the exploration, I wouldn't have known like what I'm capable of. And without throwing myself into challenges, I wouldn't know like I can do so much more than I thought I could when I was in the auditor position. And I think it's very helpful also to treat career like a game. Because first of all, to nail this career thing, first of all, we have to decide what game you want to play, and that relates to what kind of person you are. And you have to choose the right game to begin with, to the right environment, the right culture, the right people. And in a game, we are constantly looking to up level, right? So in order to up level in a game, we have to play it, we have to take risks, we have to go through challenges. That's the same thing as your career as well. Without like falling, without doing the hard things, without tackling the things that you think you couldn't, you could. Yeah, basically without the hard things, you couldn't grow, you couldn't up level. So yeah, that's my advice, or like what I talk about in the book. First of all, 5 years plan didn't really matter that much. And then second is look for the challenges that you want. And then the third, joining a startup company is good because like it allows you to learn many things before instead of just being locked in one position. So yeah, that's all I'm going to share in this first session, and I'm actually very nervous to go live alone for the first time. And thank you guys for watching me. It's a great pleasure talking to you guys, and I know like what I say is not that structured, and hopefully I can improve in the next session. So next week I'm going to talk about the third and the fourth chapters in the book, which is what I learned from starting my own business, and also the period when I get lost and decided to sell the company that I founded. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.